Hi, today I'm here to talk to you about basic use and cleaning of kitchen equipment. And I wanted to start with our ovens today. Now I know some of you have different ovens. We have the budget and other styles of ovens. But I'm going to go over the basics. Some things that we're seeing and some things that I think we can improve upon. For cleaning, first thing I want to say is please do not bring in any outside oven cleaners such as sprays, things like that. They can be very corrosive and actually damage the oven itself. Now, cleaning ovens, basically if you're keeping up on it, basic soap and water should be able to handle any of your cleaning that you need done. Wiping it down frequently is a better method than waiting till stuff gets so caked on that then you got to do a lot of elbow grease. Most importantly, about the spray, we don't use oven cleaners because if you're spraying oven cleaner around through all of this, you can get the stuff going down into the components of the oven itself, which is very corrosive, damaging, and we have to replace it. So that's why we basically want to use soap and water. We do have a stronger cleaner that we keep here at the warehouse, that if you do have some cooked on stuff that you'd like to try to get off, we have a degreaser that you can call and order and we can get that out to you. Of course, all these racks come out, easy to clean. You can do them in your triple sink or your dishwasher. Also, please don't ever line the bottom of these with aluminum foil. Aluminum foil can also be very damaging in a convection oven. I know that we're wrapping food items with foil, so we want to make sure that we're always wrapping them and keeping foil secure around the outsides of the pans. If you look back in the oven, you can see where the blower is and the fan that draws your hot air in. That is why we don't want to have aluminum foil floating around in the oven. So that's why we want it secured to pans and definitely not used at the bottom of the oven to make cleaning easier. If you get foil down into that fan in the blower, it can be very damaging and cause the motor to be replaced, and that's very expensive. Now, cleaning the exterior, like I said, we want to keep spray and any of that kind of cleaner we do not want to use. It can corrode items. The top of the oven can collect a lot of debris, and it doesn't take long. Because you've got the hoods drawing air, and you get a lot of dust up here. So we want to make sure that we're wiping the top of these ovens frequently. Now I know most people can't reach or even see at the top of the ovens, so using the step stool would be necessary to do this. But we want to make sure we're keeping debris off the top of the oven, because with the airflow in the kitchen, you can get that debris contaminating your food. As far as heating and using your oven, if you come in and you're noticing the oven's not heating, but the power's on, make sure you're double checking that you don't have the cool down mechanism in place. Most of them, it's an auto setting, so when you turn the oven on, it will start heating. But if you're having the blower in manual, that means it's still trying to cool the oven, so it's not going to heat. So always make sure if an employee comes to you and asks you, hey, the oven's not heating, what can we do? Make sure that it's not in cool down mode. Also, if you're turning on the oven and it's blowing and it's not heating and you're certain that the cool down's not depressed, it could be that your gas has been shut off entirely to the oven, which can happen when you have power surges or power outages, and that's a safety mechanism. So if you have an issue with that, please check with your building engineer, plant operator to see if they can do a gas reset. And I know that many of you already know how to do the gas reset. You can also call if you need help with that, and I can get a technician out to go through the process of doing that. Another cause for your oven to not be powering on could be that you have a trip breaker where your breakers are held, which you can go to your plant operator and have them look at that as well. Also, some schools have what they call GFI trips that can happen along the way as well. So you can also ask your building engineer to please check that. If not, and you're not getting resolution, contact me and I can get a tech out there as soon as possible. Okay, use of steamers. I always recommend that when starting your steamer up for the day, just do it on a timed heat. 10-15 minutes should be plenty of time set on the timer when the steamer is turned on to heat up in time. Some of you have self-filling steamers and some of you have to manually fill your steamer. Either way, you want to make sure that the machine is drained at the end of the day. But when you're using it during the day, you want to preheat always. Using the timer is the best method, and avoid using it on manual heat. Some of you have been running it on manual heat all day long, and that can put more work on the steamer than it should have. And it also has constant water use, in which it can be very damaging. Water, as we all know, can damage all equipment, so we don't want the steamer running continuously. We really only want the steamer running when you're needing it to heat food. When it comes to cleaning, let's make sure, of course, that you've drained the steamer, that it's cooled down enough, and just basic water and vinegar works great for your steamers for cleaning. Make sure that we're never using a delimer in our steamers. That's very corrosive. Once it gets down into parts, it doesn't take long for it to completely disintegrate apart. So make sure we're cleaning them daily. It's simple, wiping out, using some vinegar and water, and if you're doing it daily, it shouldn't be a problem. Tops of them, the same thing. Since they're under the hoods, you get a lot of buildup of debris quickly, so we want to make sure we're wiping them down daily. If you're wiping something down daily, you rarely ever have to do any heavy cleaning. The back of a lot of these, you can get heat buildup and buildup of food particles and grease quickly too. So keeping those clean makes it easier to maintain your equipment, and also won't lead to you having to do heavy cleaning at the end of the school year. This equipment can also trip a breaker, so you want to make sure that if you're not getting any power, always have your building engineer check that first, or any GFIs that might have tripped along the way. And also, if you start to see heavy buildup of scale within your steamer and you can't get that scale off, let me know immediately so I can get a technician out, because that could take a process that they're going to need some time to get it clean. So they'll work with you around your kitchen schedule to take care of that for you. With kettles, never turn on the kettle and walk away and not have any product in it. The kettles are not made to heat up without something in them. So you should always have your water in it for boiling, or any food that you're going to be heating up. Also, kettles are very important to maintain and keep clean continuously. Like other equipment, you get buildup on the back, and it doesn't take long from the heat of everyday use to make that food or spills or grease cake on, and then it becomes very difficult to clean. Once that happens, please don't use delimer to try to get that stuff off. We have a degreaser here that we can get to you. Another important thing is when you're draining things, and I know some of you have your drains built into the floor, but it's the same concept. These need to be cleaned after use. Of course, these screens do come out. These are easily cleaned in a dishwasher or your triple sink. Also, if you look down here where the drain goes, you want to make sure that you are clearing all food particles before you're removing this, because we get food down into there, and over time you get a clog in the drain, and it's very difficult to fish down in there and clear that out. Make sure we're cleaning the whole area, because we don't want bacteria to build up. This come out very easily. This comes off very easily. This can be cleaned in the machine as well. So make sure we're doing this after use. I am seeing out there where there's spaghetti that's been down there for I don't know how long. So please make sure we're doing this daily. Make sure your staff are aware of the importance of keeping these cleaned. When it comes to power for these, it's the same as all of your equipment. You can have a breaker trip, you can have a GFI to a certain unit trip. So if you're not getting any power, please check with your building engineer, plant operator first to see if they can find an issue. If not, you can reach out to me, and I can have a tech come out and help you. Ice buildup like that on your evaporator coil and walk-ins can be caused by a few reasons. One of the main reasons can be because we are leaving our door propped open for an extended period of time. And what that does, draws hot, humid air into the box, and that quickly collects on your evaporator coil. Then, of course, when it starts operating again, it freezes that moisture, which then freezes up your coil and can cause your freezer to go down and not cool, and then cause product loss. So we have to be very careful about that. There can be other reasons for ice buildup, but this is one of the main reasons. So please do not leave your freezer doors propped open or your walk-in refrigerators, because this can be damaging to the unit. If you do see ice buildup on your coil, alert us immediately. That way we can get a technician out there and he can address the situation. Today we're here to talk about Hobart dish machines. Some of you also have made conveyor belt type machines, but today we're just going to talk about your standard Hobart cleaning. One good thing you can do is you can do a solution of your delimer with water to use on the exterior of the machine. Be careful to never use this on anything that you're going to be putting food on, and always make sure that you're wiping it clean with a damp cloth. As far as deliming, all machines have instructions on the front of the machine for deliming. Okay, but one important thing is that you're cleaning the machine daily. Daily, when you're done with your day, you can drain the machine, and pull out your strainer, and also pull out this part, and get this part out as well. These can all be washed by hand in your triple sink. Always check this part for the bottom and everything. As you can see, you can get some, a lot of times it's just dirt and other things that collect on here that you can scrub out. If you look down at the bottom of the machine, you'll see the plunger. This is how, when it's up, you're draining your machine, and of course when it's down, for when you're filling the machine. But we get a lot of calls on the machine continually draining. Usually that is because the plunger, which is right here, has some debris stuck down in the drain hole. So always check that first before calling, because sometimes sporks, things like that, like to get stuck down in there. And you can just put the plunger back, and all of these go back just like this. Yeah. Strainer. And your slide. Just like that. Make sure you're doing this basic clean daily. Once you have all this stuff out, you can also spray the bottom of the machine out to get any debris to go down the drain. And to fill your machine to start your day, you just drop, because you want to drain it every day. Don't leave it overnight with water in it. And by all means, do not leave the delimer in the machine. Once you're done deliming, make sure that the machine does drain, and that you spray it out, and that you run another cycle, fill it and run a cycle, and then you can drain it for the day. Just pop down that. Once you close the door, easily just turn the machine on, it'll automatically fill. Also, what we want to make sure that we're doing is we don't want to really have it set for any more than 2 minutes unless you're doing some specific cleaning. Try not to run it at a 6-minute or anything like that, because you'll just work the machine harder than it needs to be. Most items should be able to be cleaned in 2 minutes. This is really important when you're in your walk-ins. Always keep your top shelf clear. We need to have good airflow. Otherwise, you'll overwork your unit here, and then that can cause it to freeze over and then cause it to go down. As you can see, this is nice and clear. The fans are all nice and clear. Always look for ice buildup. That's very crucial. So especially when you're leaving for the weekend, just make sure you give a quick look at your unit. Make sure you don't have any ice accumulating over the weekend. Here's another good example on a walk-in cooler of keeping top shelf stuff clear. She is expecting an order, so I'm sure this will all get filled up. But always, if you've got empty space, take that extra minute and make sure you're cleaning your surfaces in here regularly. Mold can build up really quick, so once you see any mold, you want to mitigate it as soon as possible. If you need help with that, you can always contact me, and myself or a tech can come out and also go over how to mitigate mold out of your walk-in. That is a GFI reset. Some of you have them in your kitchen along your line. You always want to check that first. If something isn't powering up on your serving line, before contacting me, check to see if it needs to be reset. It's just a GFI, you just hit the reset button on it. It should just be firmly push it in and then check to see if your power's up. If you're still having an issue, go to your plant operator, building engineer first so they can check breakers or another cause of your power outage. Make sure that you're familiar with where your breakers are in your kitchen. They should be labeled with the equipment that each one applies to. So if you're having a power issue with a piece of equipment, you can contact your plant operator or building engineer, or you can check your breakers yourself. Sometimes, if the breaker is thrown, you'll come in and you'll see that it's to the other side here. So you just want to reset your breaker. If you have a continuing problem with that, then you want to contact me and we can look in putting in a work order to fix your issue. But always familiarize yourself with these. They're labeled. If they aren't labeled and you're confused on which breaker is for what, let me know and we'll get somebody out and a tech can put all the listings in for you.